attention.
Yep, and I've got a real state-of-the-art simulator program, while it's actually animation, you know, for showing how all the valves works and so forth.
Really?
Yeah.
So
I just got it. I'm the only one in the Lower Mainland that has it.
No kidding.
Yep.
So that's exclusive too.
Well, you know that air brake course is usually taught with air boards.
Yep.
With all the valves, and they just you know, put the lines together to create various functions and so forth. Well, I've got it all in animation.
That's very good.
Yeah.
So people can they take it home and see it, or on the internet, or just in the class?
No, just in the class where I use that, and I try to teach them to really understand the system, how it works, rather than just enough to get through the air brake exam. It's a 16-hour course. It's government mandatory, right?
I've taken it.
Oh, you know it.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then there's the ICBC handbook that I use. I've always taught just from the handbook, but now with this other program, I can actually show the way the valves are working inside, how a brake chamber works with the spring brakes and with the service brakes and so forth.
It's important stuff to know, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Particularly when you're on the road and something breaks.
Then you know how to fix it.
Exactly. And I teach them what to take with them, sort of tools. There's field repair kits for air brakes and so forth. There's compression fittings that you can use to patch an airline, so forth. Things of that nature.
Really?
It's not normally taught because there's just not enough time with 30 students to do it.
This is so. That's your unique story.
That's the unique part of what I do.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Doug Clark, instructor. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you very much.
I'm really glad you had an opportunity, and your business is called Over the Road Driving School.
Yeah, it's called that because I actually teach people over the road.
You take them from here, Langley, to Alberta.
Yes, I do. At least one trip. It's about a 30-hour trip, so they get to experience mountains, they get to experience night, they get to experience all the shifting techniques that are required to be able to, travel through the mountains safely and efficiently.
I don't know anybody else is doing this.
Nobody does that. Nobody does that.
Really unique.
Well, in my opinion, it is.
Of course.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm an active trucker. I actually am a car hauler, so I take students with the car hauler. Some of them become car haulers themselves.
No kidding.
Yeah. My last student, as a matter of fact, he's just finishing. He's already bought a truck and a car hauler trailer.
Really?
And I've got him a job with the same company I haul for.
Really?
Yeah. So, and I try to add as much of the actual practical use of a Class 1 license rather than just getting one. There's certain kinds of trucking that's not as good as others.
Of course.
I don't name other companies or so forth that are in the trucking business, but there's certain companies that aren't as good as others.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I'm trying to just add a little bit more to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot more to it.
Well,
now, how many students can you take?
I normally only have about 4 students at a time. I'm by myself, but if I can find another individual who thinks the way that I do and is willing to use our teaching principles, I'm willing to do it. What it is I'm a former flying instructor, and as such, airplanes fly by numbers and trucks operate by numbers. The real professional driver doesn't always know what the numbers are, but I teach the student the numbers that work for progressing from one point to another in a truck, whether it be uphill, downhill, or on the level, whatever the case may be.
That is really unique.
Well, I think so. When I learned to fly, and then I became a flying instructor, I had to learn the techniques to teach flying, and so that a student would understand it. And the difference between aviation and trucking is that there's an instructor's manual in flying, or flight instructor's manual. There is none for teaching trucks. So I've developed a system that works for those who have difficulty in learning. They just follow this particular system and they can shift the truck. I regularly take people with only about 3 lessons, have them drive the truck from Chilliwack to Kamloops, and they're able to navigate all the hills in the Coquihalla just using the system.
No kidding.
Yeah. That's how it works.
That's fast. I mean, come on.
Well, before I used the system, years ago, I had students stop on every hill. And I said, I have to develop something that works for trucks like I did for the airplane. An airplane will not take off until you reach a certain number. Anybody that's flown will know that. The bigger the airplane, usually the greater the speed required to get it off the ground. Well, a truck will not shift into a gear without, there's three combinations of it. There's road speed, RPM, and gear. And you have to match that pattern. For instance, in most trucks, 1500 RPM in 6 high on the gear shift will produce 60 kilometers per hour. So if you're going into a city, all you need to know is I'm going to go through there at 6 high and at 1500 RPM, and you won't be breaking the speed limit.